final keynote of the day. How are you doing? How's your energy level? How are you happy? Good. So the final keynote of the day is basically two legends of Italian open data. And yesterday, someone told me the definitive data punchline, which I'm going to use because I've been knowing Giorgia for a very long time, since all this were fields. Sorry. So, Giorgia Lodi's first technologist at the Council for National Research, and she's also a professor at Unibo. And Andrea is the president of the Associazione Ondata. Actually, they're both members of Ondata. Ondata is a, how do you define it? It's an association that works on releasing data for common good. They've been absolutely instrumental in getting open data out during the COVID pandemic. And you make a lot of reusable, machine-readable electoral data. So they are, legends in terms of Italian open data. And this keynote is basically 15 years into the open data movement, I suppose, in Italy.
In English.
In English. Sorry, yes, in English, but
in Italy.
In Italy, yes. Yeah, without further ado, let's give them a big round of applause. Final keynote of the day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So we have been already introduced by him, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm an activist in open data, as you probably understood. But I would like also to tell you that I was also on the dark side of the barrier, because I've been working for a long time as a consultant of the Italian Digital Agency of the Presidency of the Council of Ministers, where actually I was introduced in the open data movement actually at that time. So yeah, and then I can say now that I am also a co-founder of a spin-off of our National Research Council, and I've been working now with artificial intelligence as well, where data is fundamental. And you? Do you want to introduce you?
Yeah. I am Andrea. I am a GIS data expert. I work from the beginning of my career with data, and 15 years ago, I started to work with open data, especially as civic hacker. I love the Linux command line, the ETL workflows, and so on. Currently, I'm working for Planetech Italia, that is a company that works with satellite data, and I am the proud president of my association on data that promote transparency and data literacy. I support with my associate a civic tech initiative and project that leverage digital tools for accountability and social impact. But the real Giorgia and Andrea, these two bad. The name in Italian is Pinco and Panco. I don't know in the English version of the movie. We are bad and ugly, usually. But today we are primarily interested in our humanity. In loving one another and in being inspired by so many of you, because the open data movement need always in some way this humanity and exchange of love between us.
Yeah, indeed. So, and what we want to do with you today is to bring you in a trip, let's say, around these 15 years of open data in Italy, because mostly are from Italian cases that we selected. They are quite interesting. And first, I want to challenge you, okay? So I can tell you that in 1983, we were able to pass from ARPANET to TCP/IP. So we invented internet, you know, and so look at the picture, women, okay, and this is great, I would say. Then in 1989, this man is very famous, you know, and also for my career as well, I would say, we invented the World Wide Web. So it's a revolution. In 2021, we were able to land on Mars, you know, that's a great result. But there is always a but, and we show you this in this presentation. But after we claim 15 years, we are still not able to guarantee proper data quality and data integration. And so we want to prove that, because you're laughing, you know, because you don't trust us. I definitely, I'm sure that you don't trust us, but I'm definitely sure that we can show you that. To tell the truth, in Italy, we started in a wonderful way. So in 2012, I was responsible of these Italian guidelines. We invented the Italian guidelines for public administrations for semantic interoperability through linked open data. So the first country in Europe, really, was the first country in Europe in writing instructions to public administration using linked open data, okay? Yeah, nice, right?
Great, thank you.
But then there are nice things, you know, that happened over time. So like in 2015, more or less, 10 years ago, more or less, so we discovered nice data sets. Well, first of all, 2012, linked open data, but then only CSV, and we are in the right place to speak about CSV files, right? But then Andrea discovered like a nice data set with a column called Giancarlo. Giancarlo is a typical Italian name, you know? So who is Giancarlo? So we ask ourselves many years, who is this Giancarlo actually? So this was funny stuff. Then we did some progresses, you know, in dealing with data in 2017, okay? We discovered we call it the 50 shades of, don't think something, shades of expressing no value in CSV files. So this is an example of data set with the name, surname, and this is the address, okay? And there are all the possible different ways to express no values. The second row that you see there seems fine, but no. 5 Kabbalah number, I don't know, 5 characters of space, 5, not one less, not one more, okay? Just 5, but then there is the famous not declare, Mr. Not Declare, because this is mentioned in Italian, obviously. And then the address, you see here, many different ways, once again, to not include values, like, you know, to be specified means in Italian with the underscore, obviously, because there is a difference. But for a machine, it's different, you know. This is true, actually. So, and since we mentioned the 50 shades of it should be gray, you know, but it's gray in which way? Because this is another very old story that continues nowadays, that we use strings, not codes, strings, everywhere strings, okay? So, yeah. And
I need to add one note, because the inspiration for these
yeah, indeed,
great comics for me is Maurizio Napolitano, that sent me another kind of comic, but there is a man of the Masters of the Universe, and this example of a gray school with 1L, 2L, and something different about other letters is really a big problem, because we do not use identifiers, but only name in the every time, almost every time.
Yeah, indeed. And these are two examples of data sets. One is from the Italian government during the COVID pandemic of publishing open data regarding vaccination and vaccines. And then at a certain point, so they mentioned the vaccine name, then at a certain point they decided to change the name of AstraZeneca, which is not the name of the vaccine actually, but it was the name of the organization providing the vaccine. So they change everything. So all the application based on this open data should change all the implementation because of the change of the name. But then we are quite famous also to reproduce in every open data sets, regions, province, municipalities, but they are nice cases in Italy. So is Reggio di Calabria or Reggio Calabria? Because when we speak is Reggio Calabria, but officially is the other one. So, and obviously these are two different things. We don't use codes typically for this. And what about this? Huh?
I'm very proud also of this. I am not able to speak in English, but I'm great in create stupid slides. But it's a real big problem because we have some president of some state that switch off some data portal. And where are these data? And this is a real problem, is a practical problem that we must solve in some way. Because if we have some switch off in some regional server, probably we have no more that data. And another point related to this kind of to this slide is the versioning of our dataset. Almost each open data portal publish only the latest version. And this is a really big problem for each one of us than to want to analyze the data, because a really important point is how to data change during the time. Because all data disappears. The COVID, during the COVID, we have learned that the change over time are the most important things. It's useful also to monitoring how the public administration works, to watch the change in the data set is a way to fix transparently the error of the data, that procedures. And in this way, you build stronger trust in open data, that I think it's an important theme. But communities matter. This csvconf is dedicated to communities, and we think that they have great power. And this is an example of data without history and without versioning. It's not so important data set, but in some way it's a data set that does not exist. This is the number.
But it's created by the community.
Yeah.
This is the important point.
In the 2023, Associazione Data started to collect the number of organizations inside the Open National Italian Data Portal. And it's interesting because at the beginning we have 100 of organizations, and the trend is a line, flat line in some way. We have that spike because probably there was a problem in the server. And at the end of 2024, at the beginning of 2025, fortunately, we have an increasing ratio, and now we have nearby 300 organizations. And this is really important because the number of organizations in some way is related to the variability of the kind of the data we have in the portal. And this is another related data set. This one data set officially does not exist. We publish it in a repository and we update it every day, is the number of the data set. At the beginning of our campaign, we ask a lot of time, publish data, publish data, publish data, without thinking to quality of data. Probably this is not so good. That spike is related to the geospatial data portal that has been invested in that time. And the strange thing is that we have an increasing of the organization, but in the last period, the number of data is almost the same. But it's not always a good story. We have a lot of organization, next slide, but this is an example of the city of Matera, one of the most important municipality that have built an open data portal. And in this moment, this important open data portal does not work. We have a generic internal server error. Thank you to Francesco Policelli for the slide, for the notify. And community works because we have written a certified email to the public administration to ask to move it and to republish this portal. But I think that this cannot work in this way, to have someone that write an email. In some way, everyone at the national level know that it's the harvesting does not work of that data portal, and I think that must be a way to make that portal work again. And when an open data portal is shut down, we lost the data. Sometime, yes. I think that the data of Comune of Matera are not available, and I think it's a big problem to manage for us to propose to work on it. And I love Web Archive. That is one of the way. You find here the archive of some CSV file archived there.
Yeah, but I would also say it's an issue if we lost data, okay? Because if we now see that the Trump administration, they decided to close down some websites, okay? Where some interesting data on climate change, for example, are published. In this case of Matera is because, you know, it's probably because some administrator is changed, but there is a real issue here to take into account if we lost data, and probably application built on data, because open data is the reuse of data. How can we deal with that? You know, it could be that some businesses can lost their business, okay, on that data. But community matters, okay? And I want to show you another example in which community matters. And everything started in, so here we are in recent days, more or less, recent years, let's say, 2024. And everything started from a guy who is here, by the way, in this room, sitting in the first line, okay? And he said, okay, our Ministry of, what is that, a ministry? I don't know, it's industry, more or less, published this platform, a national platform for the charging stations, where to localize the charging stations for electric vehicles, okay? So very much important nowadays, this information, okay? Especially if we want to move to the electric market for this kind of stuff. So they publish this website, okay? The name is National Platform, more or less. Yeah. Very expressive, let's say, but
as usual.
As usual. Then they publish nice features, graphs, wonderful, okay? But the guy who is here in Twitter, when we still use it, not now, but at that time, yes, ask us, okay, but where are the open data? Is there open data or not? And the answer, this is me when I was on Twitter, so I'm still on Twitter, but I don't use it. And the answer is no, there is no open data. Actually, my answer was a little bit elaborated, saying, okay, so there are no terms and conditions in that website, and according to the Italian law, we can apply the open data by default principle, so we can consider that data as open by default, okay? That's fine, okay, but there is always a but. I don't have any possibility to query the data, and I don't have any possibility to download the data. I have just to do scraping if I want to use it, okay? And I said the conclusion was, well, in 2024, with many laws at the European level, at the Italian level, guidelines we started in 2012, it's not acceptable anymore from a public administration. But then we have communities, no? And we have on data. And what did on data was, okay, so let's do scraping of this data set, of this data, and then extract the data. And the data were published on a GitHub of on data with an open license, with an open format, CSV, once again. And so we have data published by the community. So, and during this task, so the community discovered that still in 2024, we don't know how to use UTF-8, for example. And we have many cities in Italy with accents, okay? And so we had this strange stuff and strange character here, but it was everything fixed by this man plus the community. So the question is, so does this story have a happy ending? And since I'm a pain in the neck, typically, I would say nee, but there were many reused enabled by the fact that the data were published by the community as open data. So there was like a guy publishing this map, which included also the calculation of the possible route to achieve the station, the charging stations, before that the car runs out of power, obviously, no? Which is much important to do that. There was another civic hacker who is very good in doing maps, okay? So he put in a map all the parameters found in this data set.
The great Gunther Richter,
yeah,
the name
exactly.
of it.
Gunther Richter, the mention for him, actually. And so this is a nice map, but not only that, also journalists. So data journalists, so we have data journalists in Italy in any case, and we have good data journalists, very few, but good, very, very good. And they start publishing news for any user saying, look, there is a map, you can find the charging station here and so on. So we have the Post and Wired publishing this. So why me then? So it's wonderful. Many reuses were enabled because of the availability of the data. And yeah, this is me actually, according to a funny Twitter account. I say me because of two issues that I see here. The first one is because on data actually replaced the public administration in doing its own job, okay? And I tell you, communities matter, but public administration, they should do their job as data providers, okay? The second one was the process behind this platform, because the process was, from my perspective, quite obsolete, because it was like the data provider had to send every, I don't know, 6 months, 1 year, I don't know, more or less, this data to the center, to the ministry, according to a JSON file, without any JSON scheme, by the way. And then, from my perspective, working with data, not only open data, for many years, I think that this moving data from the edge where the data is managed, okay, to the center, sometimes lead to data incompleteness. At that time, Tesla, for example, was not available because they decided to send the data when they wanted, and outdated data as well, because if you send it after, I don't know how many months, yeah, probably you don't install a charging station every day, but you know, the risk, if you take into account this process that the data is outdated, it's very high. And here we are missing then two important data quality characteristics, the completeness and the timeliness, which are fundamental, and it's very difficult to find them in open data. But in 2025, we surprise you because now we have the data from the ministry. So he discovered that, and I have to tell and to do the mention to him. He discovered that, so we have explored data. Okay, let's explore data. So I personally downloaded the data. So this is the data, it's a CSV. That's nice.
A lot of codes.
Yeah, a lot of codes, obviously. So yeah, the first column is actually a code, but I don't know, what does it mean? ESVE, I don't know. Well, they know probably, but we don't. So the question is this data comprehensible? And comprehensibility is another data quality characteristics, okay? So we should make also data and the meaning of the data available for machines and humans. Yeah. No codes, well, the old story is still here, no codes for territorial classification. So probably here there is Reggio Calabria. Reggio. So what about interoperability then? It's one of the fair principle in any case. So, but no, okay. No value equal here one character with a space. One, here is one, at least one, because 5 then it's difficult to count, you know. But here it is 1. But we have codes without the codification tables because 1, 2, 3, 4 we found. Okay. And then spaces in the column headings. So, okay, this is very common, I would say. And then it's a comma separated value, but in Italy we like semicolon. Yeah. Because we have the address there, we have the column because the name of the street, comma, civic number, but we don't know the quotes. Yeah. So, okay. So, but this is the CSV. But then we said together, okay, but which cars do we have? No, because what we wanted to see if the number of charging stations are enough for the number of electric cars, for example. Okay, let's ask to our National Automobile Italian club, okay? So, there are many CSV files there. So I open it one, okay, I see there, C, we still don't know UTF-8 because this is something that we don't know.
We don't know, and we do not have any notes in the website.
No, absolutely. No, but metadata? No. Okay. So then we open it ODS. Well, it's open, open format, ODS. But the ODS is done like this with the column and rows merged together, with the total, with the title.
Three row either.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I say many times, open data to be visualized on a screen. But open data is for the use of machines. Well, okay. Technical details. But there is the linked open data from Machi, you know?
Fortunately.
Yeah. Great. So we have an ontology.
Yeah.
Describing the data.
Yeah, sure.
We have n triples. That's amazing. So I want to query the data to do this. So where is the sparkle endpoint? Where is the sparkle endpoint? Have you seen the sparkle endpoint? No, you don't? Okay. We didn't see any sparkle endpoint. Okay. But probably high value data source high value data sets. Come on, Andrea, much better.
Fortunately, we have the high value data set, and with this the kind of data we have solved always. But we must talk about Italian vector cadastral data, one of the most desired open data, very important, I think, in every country. And the high value data set are the data that are important with benefits for society, the environment, and the economy. But the next slide. And according to the regulation, publication was scheduled for the summer of 2024, but it was released in February 2025. I don't know why. Some months. Bulk access is available. We can download the zip file in bulk. We have API access partial because it's possible to download by bounding box, geographical bounding box, but incredible, it's not possible to query by attribute. Strange.
You ask so many things.
I need to go to Mars. And a great impact for this kind of data triggered the development of new software, a lot of plugins, so new kind of software, enable external services built on top of the data. But this is the way they have chosen to publish the data. We have one zip file for each region, with one zip file inside for its province, with inside one zip file for its municipality, with inside the two GML file, and or one great big national zip file with that structure. In Italy, there are about 8,000 municipalities. Imagine the convenience of managing about 16,000 XML files. And the next. XML files are interoperable, standard, and comply with Inspire specification. Great. It's important. But some of my colleagues that work with GIS don't know how to use a GML file. It's impossible to use them for bulk operation. Okay, the specification were met, but was there any thought given to end user? I think no. Couldn't a format such a GeoPackage or GeoPark have been added? And the community? Issues in the cadastral data publication, no direct access in August 2025, no direct access to the schema. We have error 403, thank you. Missing links to schema in metadata and dataset page, invalid characters in some GML file. We have point and line inside the polygon layer, and the best of is coordinate outside Italian extent in several parcels. All of these errors, it's really strange. Automatic controls are really easy for this kind of errors. But community smart, and once again, another official certified email to ask to please make the metadata available without 403 error. And after this August email, in the at the end of August, they have published, they have corrected a lot of that point, but it's really strange that it's necessary to write this kind of email.
Yeah, but yeah, so far we were not so many positive, okay, but it's not our fault actually. So it's just reporting what we observe as civic hackers well, I needed to stop here. Okay, but yeah, we have did also nice works. Okay. Also, especially at the national level for national data interoperability. And we have nice guidelines, okay? Yeah, in PDF, but okay, come on, let's go ahead. In the past, they were in HTML.
Yeah.
In the past,
on that
when I was in Agid. But now are in PDF, indeed. I'm not in Agid anymore. But at least these guidelines are an indication, okay, a technical indication for this. And then we have also national platforms for data interoperability. So we mentioned over this presentation, we have this Italian open data portal where data sets are described with the common data model. You should probably know it. It's based on DCAT, W3C DCAT specification. We have DCAT AP in Europe with the exchange that enables the exchange with the European data portal. So we have the Italian extension of DCAT AP. It's the one that I did when so it's version 1. In Europe, there are 3 versions, but this is another story. And another point is that the geodata portal communicates through this data model with the open data portal, which is important. We constructed another platform, and here there are some people also constructing it, which is called the Schemagovit. Schemagovit, it's more related to defining the semantics of the data. So we go inside the data sets. So we define what is an organization, what is a public contract, what is a public service. And there are many semantic assets there. Still not so much used because it's based on semantic web standards and technologies that are recognized not so easy to use in general, at least in the public sector. But at least the semantic interoperability should be enabled through this platform. And then we have another platform, which is the National Digital Platform for Data, that enables the data exchange. So the technical interoperability then is enabled. And what we are, so in essence, with these platforms, we are trying to, to meet the FAIR principles that you can see in this slide, findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And what we are trying to do, and this is probably also unique in Italy, is this is mostly for developers, okay? Developers doesn't like that much semantics, I tell you. This is, I'm sure, yeah. But what we want to do is to try to also let them understand that if you create many APIs, and we have many APIs in that API catalog, that probably are the same APIs because they are defining the same things, the tax code for people, the address and so on, but they define according to the provider of the public administration, they are defined in different ways. What we are trying to do is to link these APIs to the semantic, to the common semantic, so that we have a link between the semantic layer and the technical interoperability layer as well. And yeah, as I said, this is quite unique in Europe at the moment. And so they are in Europe also looking at this initiative. So we are in a certain way good. We are doing something good, but always a but. Yeah.
No more only machine to machine, because a lot of time we have data that compliant with some rules, some metadata, with some specification, but people are not able to understand that data. And I want to show you another example of high data value dataset. Please, Giorgia, open this. Okay, this is the National Data Portal. This dataset is classified as high data value. The publisher is the National Institute of Statistics. This is a really important dataset. Please, Giorgia, click on the Access web page. And this is that page.
No, doesn't.
No, strange.
Okay.
Really. But okay, we have once again no way to study and read about it because I'm not data expert. That link is to understand what is this kind of data. But I am a nerd. I am a GIS data analyst, and I want to work with the data. And now I download in this really strange format, but I'm downloading it.
I think so. Yeah, it's working. Probably.
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah.
Probably it's big data. Probably.
Do you want a copy?
Okay. Okay.
So error executing generated SQL and populating the SDMX model.
Okay.
Okay.
This is this is data published by National Institute of Statistics. This is the official national data portal. This is a really interesting data set. This is a specialist format because SDMX is an exchange format. I think that only this format could be a barrier. But we have no description, no metadata. I think that it's not a good way to work. And I think that some automatic control should stop the publication. When you do not have the link that reply to your request, some automatic way to switch off the harvesting of this kind of data.
It's also very fresh. Because it's the last update is last year, but the frequency of update have every 3 months. So very fresh.
Fresh. And our request, our idea, I think that we all agree to this kind of goal. Please also think about the machine to human. We think that this is a really big problem, the current problem that we have. And here to csvconf, and we must thank you, csvconf. I want to thank you, Sara, Giuseppe, the University of Bologna, Monica Palmirani, and community are necessary to try to solve, but not only alone. We must collaborate with organization, company, and so on. We must talk. One slide.
At least one
slide of
artificial intelligence is a must now. So obviously, you cannot do a keynote without speaking about artificial intelligence. So, well, okay, apart from the jokes, we believe it's important now to have this technology, okay? It's important for businesses, it's important for public administrations, okay? And also for communities.
Yeah.
Because what we can do is to, for example, also for the public administration point of view, we can use this tool to improve the data quality that we have seen so far, okay? Apart from the UTF-8, come on, there since many years. But I really believe that artificial intelligence can help this, or can help to construct tools, for example, to go close to people. You know, I speak about linked open data. Now, semantic web technologies and standards, it's my daily work. And I know that it's perceived still as so complex. I don't know how to do a Sparkle query, and I don't know how to read an ontology and so on. But then we have these tools like generative artificial intelligence that can be used, for example, to pose questions in natural language, in all your languages, by the way, not only in English. And then there are the possibilities to construct tools to get then the answer that you want and that you ask in your language. So it's an opportunity. And I would say it's an opportunity to have open data for artificial intelligence, which is so close so far in terms of models, but also in terms of data. We don't know the data they use to train mostly these models. And open data, it's really an opportunity that we need to take. To conclude, so raw data now, or what do you want?
Too often we stop at just following the rules. I think this is a barrier. Too often dataset lack even a minimal description. In every data portal in which you find the CSV file, there is no description about the name of the field, the kind of the field, the description, the field, the vocabulary that you have in that CSV. Too often they are readable and usable only by specialists. Open data are not only for specialists. Open data is a civic matter also, and must be for all. And I think that this point is very important. Too often some data falls outside the rules, and then we do not find any kind of data. A lot of data does not exist. But why? Why we have the pollution data updated every hour, and we do not have almost any data about gender-based violence? It's strange. It's not good. And for us, it become exhausting, and communities are kicked out, pushed away by technicalities, formalism, or by gaps.
Yeah, actually, we can remember here that we have a nice initiative in Italy. This is like the creation of this forum, a national forum, Italian forum, also that enabled the dialogue between communities and the public institutions. But most of the time are just communities going there, say, oh, I don't find this, I don't find that, I don't find, but
without any reply.
No answers, you know. So that's not nice, actually. So for the future,
yeah,
what we want?
We want to have on our table a lot of people stop talking only about technology. They works. Stop talking only about metadata standards. We have this metadata or regulation that leave people out. Our goal must be to keep communities inside, to make access to data treated and lived as something truly everyday on our table when we talk, we joke together. I think it's a good goal for the next 10 years.
So we want to exploit technology to have sustainable data management process, but we want to have also in the artificial intelligence world, people in the loop, which is very much important, okay, also for the communities. So we thank you because we finished our presentation. We hope that you enjoyed it.
My personal thank you too. So do we have any questions for Giorgia and Andrea?
That's better than us. Favorite country in Europe that is better than us at doing this?
Oh, that's a so difficult question.
The friends.
The friends. I guess, so I have seen some countries like France. They do have like an equivalent of schema. They don't publish semantic web standards. They publish JSON schema, if I remember correctly. But they have at least done like an attempt to, try to explain data. Okay, they have a very nice national portal with many APIs. They have civic numbers, totally open with APIs and so on. So France is okay. Also Belgium. Yeah, but Belgium, what it does better, I think it's really a concept of interoperability. And they, not only interoperability, so they have, they have platforms, technologies, they are very quick in building also these things at the government level, by the way. And what they are also trying to do is to empower citizens to take the control of their own data, also in terms of personal data, not only open data. So I guess that these countries, and then also probably some other countries in north of Europe, also Spain, I would say. Spain has, it was one of the first country in the south of Europe, let's say, to adopt this common.
A lot of interesting documents to explain to people how to use open data. Really good job, and not only the rules, formal rules. That's
absolutely. And I would say that also in Spain, I don't know in France, but in Spain, in Belgium for sure, what happens is there is a university typically that accompany the public. In Spain, absolutely, the public administration. So there is this collaboration, strict collaboration between the public sector with the academia, for example, and so they are still, they are continuously up to date, no, with the new research results and so on, and they are keen to, explore it. And so this is important, I would say. We are in a nice university. I wanted to mention.
I want to add that we don't want to make some kind of standings ranking. We have a lot of good. We have a lot of good data portal also in Italy. That point is only useful to us to make some example, to explain some mancanze, some lack in our data culture in some way. Yeah. Yeah.
The same also in Italy. I personally don't think so. I mean, the nice portal is definitely needed for findability. I need at least to find the data. But then there should be a step more. And I think that what we have in Italy is that we have some initiatives where open data is actually like taught at the high school. Okay, I guess that training on so Andrea mentioned the two words very important for me, data culture. So we need data culture to overcome the Excel. Okay, so we need something more about that, and so we need to train it. So we have some initiatives are still spotted, I guess, but at least starting from the high school. Then I teach at the university. I teach data management at the university. I try to bring these concepts to also students, young students. It's important for us, at least for me, to do that. The open data portal should be just a means through which you find the data.
First step.
The first step, exactly. You need it, because otherwise, how can I find the data scattered across many websites? But at least you have a unique point. But if you go also to the European data portal, the European data portal has so many data sets. It's quite impossible, at least for me, to find really something immediately. It's the constructing a data portal is not easy. I've been working with the Italian open data portal years ago, and it was like really a mess. And by the way, I would say another important point is let's forget about quantity, KPIs. Let's concentrate on quality KPIs, okay? Because if we look only to how many data sets, yeah, the result is that in our catalog, we have like 64,000 data sets, but then you have seen it. Yeah. An high value data set is like that. So, you know, the real point, I was saying that when I was in the Italian government, I don't want data sets that are very poor in terms of quality. So we discard it. So people said, no, this is not possible. No, you are mad. You are mad. No, that's not, but it's time now, especially in the artificial intelligence era. We need data which is not poor. Okay.
So I built the climate change portal for Office for National Statistics. And we did all this user research so that people wanted to use it, the public wanted to use it. And it was semantic-based, Sparkle endpoint. There wasn't any buy-in to keep it going because of the cost associated with maintaining that Sparkle endpoint. I've since left the Office for National Statistics, and I'm now working for DEFRA for their climate change portal effectively. And I flipped the narrative there. So making the tools that people can use to access the data more accessible. So giving people the CSV file that they're looking for and having the semantics for the experts on the back end. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot of dead links now to the climate change portal at Office for National Statistics. How do you deal with, like there's a personal obligation to keep cool URLs don't change, for example. How do you deal with institutions who don't care?
It's really, once again, a really difficult question. I mean, what I notice is that, at least in Italy, there was like once when I was working at the Italian Digital Agency, the director at that time, she was a woman, okay? She decided to create like a wall of shame for public administration not doing something, okay? It was perfect. You could not imagine how this then triggered the sending all the data that we needed to do the work at that time according to the law. Being in the European Open Data Portal, being high in a ranking and so on, incentivate public administrations, typically, okay? And it's strange because it should not like that, because this is the apparencies, you know? We need to instead train the added value of doing this, okay? And if one day we will able to make them understand the real value of doing, acting and doing process, data management process in a certain way, then we success. If we still do this, probably not, because it will be like I reach the rank and then I forget about it. But I can tell you that from my experience, this was like, okay, like a push in doing at least something. I know it's not very good, but.
And with,
no, go.
wishes to say? We're running out of time. I'll give you the final.
Okay. A small note about that data set. We have two important links that do not work. But if you are able to find the official publication portal of that kind of data, you probably have an API that works, or probably you have also the way to download in the CSV format. Probably you have the SDMX that works, but it's incredible. The National Data Portal is the simple way to go inside. And I think that in some way we have a formal way to publish that does not work, and the raw way that works. But in this way, I think it's really wrong, really bad for community, for people to work with that.
Let's give this to a big round of applause. Thank you very much for being with us today.